next guest... Oh, you see.
He's like BGT.
My next guest is a best-selling author, comedian and meditation teacher who was also one half of Dermot and Dave on Today FM until he realised he was busy and wrecked. 18 months later, he's written a book of the same title, and he's here tonight to tell us how to create space and make room for the things that matter. And no, he does not mean cake or pints. Would you please welcome Dermot Whelan? Welcome to the show, Dermot. Congratulations on this. It is called Busy and Wrecked. We all think we're busy and wrecked, but you actually were. How busy and wrecked did you get?
I'm busy and wrecked after watching Bruno doing his thing.
Well, I'm busy and wrecked all the time. I made a career out of it.
Yeah. I feel very pale sitting next to... I feel like I've been trapped in the attic for 5 years.
Well, this is Los Angeles now. That's Hollywood. It's real.
Yeah. Are you here to teach Irish men how to dance? Because we need your help.
Well, no, but you got Michael Flatley, though. You got the best here. I'm not going to go into his territory.
No, have you seen us at weddings? It takes us 5 pints just to sway. This is it.
Oh, yeah, but how you can drink?
We can. We can have a good run at it.
I kind of feel that you could probably do with a few buttons open compared to Bruno.
Well, I close it.
Well, I had
you
to
want
balance
more or you want less?
I know, I feel...
All right, then, you got it.
When you got it, flaunt it. That's it. I feel kind of like Victorian here sitting beside him.
Yeah. But honestly, tell us how wrecked you actually got at one point in your life before you decided to change course.
Yeah, I guess in around about 2017, I had a lot going on. I had just started the mid-morning show with Dave. It was a big deal. We were doing our first live tour. And I think, like a lot of people, I was just saying yes to a lot of work and just basically doing a lot of work and maybe not taking the time out to take a bit of rest and recovery. And it manifested for me in sleeping in my car in the afternoon. I'm a big fan of the disco nap, and I think they're great. But when you find yourself doing it every day, and I think the thing was when I would finish the radio show, if I had to meet somebody later on or if I had a meeting or something, I was regularly sleeping in my car for about 40 minutes, to try and get the energy to get through the rest of the day. And that's the thing, I think, that when we get caught up in busyness and our high-stress state is our norm, it's exhausting.
I mean, you were talking about...
No, it's true, actually, because there was a point. That's when the last season of Strictly, because I would, Len stopped before me. And I got on his live, and it comes to me, and there is that... People didn't know that. They know the split second when, what the hell am I? I absolutely had no idea where I was.
And that was because you were going from LA to back and forward.
It's constant jet lag for it. I mean, you don't know where you are, which time zone you're in. And you just literally go blank. It was like...
It's very similar, Dermot. I mean, you were sleeping in your car, Bruno was sleeping in his private jet.
Well, not private jet, but I do fly nicely.
Yeah. You don't think it was a Hyundai estate?
No, it wasn't. No. There was the champagne there.
Yeah.
No, but it's the jet lag, and I totally understand. No, it's absolutely true, because what you do, because when you've been around, you always think this job is going to be the last, and you're trained to say, well, I got to do it, because then my career is going to go. Oh, I got to do it, and it's very difficult to say no. I don't want to do this. I can do without. It's very, very hard to make those decisions.
Well, what's amazing is that that's exactly what you did, because you stepped away from the radio show. How do you feel about that now?
Well, around that time, I decided I was going to... See, I had started meditation years before that. But what do we do as humans when we've... and it was really working for me. My sleep improved, my mood improved, I had more patience, everything was better. But, what do we do when we find something that really works for us? we stop doing it because we're human beings and we're a bit crap, you know. And you're like, that thing, it changed my life. I'm never doing it again, you know. So I guess I drifted away, and I was talking about meditation, but if I was honest, I wasn't really doing it. It was a bit like how we talk about flossing to our dentists. You know, we talk a good game when we're in the chair, don't we? You know, and they're like, do you floss? Do I floss?
Every
Sure,
day.
I was on the way here. I have a cramp in my wrist from doing it, you know. The dentist is like, really? Where are all your teeth? You know? I took them out to make room for the flossing. So I guess if I was honest with myself, I was talking about the meditation. So I wasn't really doing it. So at that point, I decided I was going to lean into it. I trained as a meditation teacher.
Well, we've
And
actually
that kind
got,
of set me on my
your
new path.
I've got your official title here. You are a certified master of wisdom and meditation teacher.
Yes.
Is that something you can do for the Leaving Cert, or do you have to go to Hogwarts for that? Or, that is...
It's like a lovely retreat spa with champagne and thing and sound and lovely ding, ding, boom, all of that.
Yeah, well, I know. But my wife says...
What's that sound
But
again?
you know, like ding, 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 dong, dong. You know, the chimes, the chimes. Oh, stop it!
Do you have any ding, 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 dong in your...
You know what I mean? There's the chimes, this kind of thing.
Yeah, I think if you're hearing dim ding 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 bong while you're meditating, you could be in trouble. You may need medical assistance.
I do.
But I guess I went. You know, the reason I wrote my first book, Mindful, was because I wanted to make this stuff accessible, and I wanted to bring some humor into it, because I think the whole wellness world can take itself very seriously, particularly meditation stuff. And I guess, you know, one of the joys for me is when, if I'm doing a live show, it's the amount of men that are in the audience.
Because you do a live show which is comedy and meditation.
Yeah. So I guess I share my own experiences through stand-up, and, you know, I have like a funny TED talk, but I do then take people through the techniques. But I keep it light, and I use humor, I guess, to help people who maybe wouldn't gravitate towards it, maybe to try it out and open their mind, you know. And it's powerful because, you know, I over the years I've been to these wellness events and these spiritual weekends, and I'm usually the guy or the other guy, you know. And so what I love is when I see men there, you know, and because I think the way
They're very naughty. I thought I spotted them.
Yeah, they're definitely not meditating.
Yeah,
So,
But I was just saying, I think the way this stuff, meditation stuff, has been marketed over the years, it's definitely towards a female audience, which is great because women need it too. But I think a lot of men have been left out of the conversation, and I think humor is a great way, either through the books or the shows, you know, to get them to maybe open their minds to ways of relaxing, and it doesn't have to be all lotus position on mountaintop.
You see?
you see?
Sorry, dum diddy ding ding bong.
Yeah, but actually, I'm sorry, don't do it, but actually, you see, I was right. But see, I used to do I still do, like for years and years, I'm a yoga. I found that very, very relaxing and very beautiful. I love it. Years and years and years, I used to go to the Iyengar Institute. And it's absolutely true, because what you know, you're empty. You just don't have these voices in your head all the time, this continuous dialogue that you switch off. And for me, yoga is, I just love yoga.
I mean, it's difficult, though, in Ireland, because just to get the space for that moment of calm, because Irish people like a chat, even if you don't want to chat.
Yeah, and you know, we're uncomfortable in space, generally speaking. You know what, if you ever want to see how uncomfortable we are with space, whether that's the space just when we get still for a few minutes, or just in space with other people, or in conversations, gaps in conversations. If you want to see how we are, get into a lift with an Irish person. Because immediately we'll start filling the gaps with... Oh, sure, yeah, that's it. Sure, look, isn't that it? That's it, yeah. Oh, you know yourself. Oh, flat out, mad busy. And I was in a lift one time, and a lady got in who was clearly having a busy day. She was busy and wrecked, and she was, no. And then she got so awkward in the space and in the silence. I don't know, I didn't know her from Adam. For some reason, she reached forward and she grabbed a hair off my face.
Now, that is very helpful.
Yeah, well, she obviously thought it was like a loose hair that had just sort of drifted down from my fringe.
Like your personal stylist.
Yes, but this wasn't a loose hair. This was a hair that I had missed that was still very much attached to my face and was still growing out of it.
So she plucked
So
it.
she went, pulled it.
Ow!
My face came out to meet her, and I went, ah! And she went, ah! And the doors opened and she ran out of the lift. I'm pretty sure she could have worked in the building and she just never went back because she was so embarrassed. But space can be awkward, but for me, it's the key. And with all the distractions of life, the devices we have, the demands on our time, the to-do lists, the emails, finding that space and sitting with that space can feel strange,
And also you do this thing where you're now telling people that you're not busy when they ask, and they're not quite sure what to do with that answer.
Yeah, because I think it's our national pastime now. We just like to tell people how busy we are.
Sure, Jason, mad busy. Yeah.
But the question used to be, how are you? And the answer was, fine, thanks. And now it's, how are you? God, don't talk to me, I'm crazy. I'm up the walls, I'm flat out, I'm here, coming here, nowhere coming or going. And then there's a gap and we throw in that classic phrase, but good busy. Yeah. And that papers over all the cracks. You're like, yeah, I have a heart rate of 175. I was so exhausted, I called the bus driver mommy. But, good busy. And I noticed that when I left the radio, and for the first time in many years, I wasn't that busy. I was actually focusing on one thing at a time. I was writing the book, and that was kind of it. And people would say, geez, you're doing great since you left the radio. You're flat out, I'd say, are you? And I'm like, no, actually, I'm actually not that busy. No. And they wouldn't know what to say. It would just end the conversation because we're so used to telling each other we're busy. And, there's science from Columbia University in the States that shows we do this. We're caught in this constant busyness signaling because it raises our social importance. What we're saying is, I have all this work and very little personal time. I'm very important. And so that's why we're caught up. It's doing it unconsciously, but that's what we do. So anywhere we can start to maybe notice that and introduce some little spaces to escape the busyness has got to be good.
And Dermot will be appearing on Britain's Got Talent with his comedy and meditation.
Well, I've never seen that before.
So would that be a yes from you?
About it.
Would that be a yes from you?
I have to see it first.
Okay. Maybe if he finishes with the bum diddy bim.
If you start with a bim-biddy-doo routine, a bit of a kind of, I don't know. I mean, you have to see it. You can't judge something. You have to see it.
Yeah.
What do you think? Well, there you go.
We think so.
Why don't you give us a demonstration?
Well, no, what we'll do is maybe have a demonstration just backstage, a moment of calm.
Oh, no, I'm going to have a drink.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't leave me backstage with I'm terrified.
That's kind of what I meant.
You see, it's about making choices. It's time to work, but once the camera is off, I'm just like anyone else.
Well, the good news is it is the time that the cameras are going to be turning off very, very soon. Dermot, thank you so much for coming to see us. Dermot's book, Busy and Wrecked, is out now. Give it up one more time for Dermot Whelan.